Here we are. Good morning, everyone. We're going to have a mat or bar class this morning where we start on our feet and end on the mat. So you want to have your mat stuff nearby, but once you've assembled that, leave your floor space clear and go ahead and come on up to standing. You'll want something for inner thighs. It could be a ball or a yoga block. I'm going to use a yoga block this morning. And you might want some hand weights. Yeah. Let me bring the light level up in the room just a little bit more. I sometimes don't judge that correctly at first go. Right. You might also want your cup of coffee. All right. Pardon me. Okay. Once we're all in place, you got all your goodies, we'll start with some gentle walking. All right. So as you walk, you'll want to shift your weight side to side. You don't need to pick up your feet from the ground, but you will pick up your heels from the ground. And we do this for a generous amount of time. At first, feet might be stiff, right? Or joints might be sore. So walking here for a little while gives circulation to the lower legs as well as the feet and the ankles, helping to warm and prepare them. And also to ease soreness. We do a couple more walks to each side. Beg your pardon. Made the mistake of working in the yard yesterday. Yeah. When you've walked through those sides, go ahead and put your left heel down, and we're going to slide the right foot in front over the top, come onto the top of the foot, and bend the knees just enough that the back knee presses into the front calf. We get a stretch over the top of the foot. Hold here and explore depth, but don't push into pain. And then uncross and take it into lunge. So I'm shifting around in space so you can see what I'm doing. You don't need to do that unless you want to. Have a lean forward in your lunge so that the back leg is continuous with the torso. Explore depth here as well. You don't want that front knee to slide too far past the ankle, but you can just sort of move it back and forth in a way that allows you to find the end range of your stretch at this point. And then go ahead and bend the back knee a smidge, bring the hips underneath you and step off that foot. And we do the same little sequence to the other side. So stand on the other leg, in my case, my right leg, cross the new foot over and bend just a little bit. All of these stretches, while we don't want them to be ballistic, right, or percussive, you can put a little bit of very easy movement in. We're going to uncross and take this leg into lunge. That little bit of easy movement, just reminding the muscles not to be alarmed or not to grip. Stretching is very interesting in terms of what the nervous system allows you to do. Bend the back knee a little bit and then step it forward. If your brain does not feel like it's safe, we're going to do a figure 4 stretch. Stand on your left leg, cross your right one over, and bend into your knees. If your brain doesn't feel like your body is safe, it's not going to let your muscles go anywhere. True story. And if you are not breathing, it's going to shut you off from different layers of the nervous system, as well as immobilize your core. So we want to make sure the breath is steady as we stretch here. Go ahead and circle the ankles for our last couple of breaths in this figure 4 stretch, going in both directions. And then stand on the right foot or the other foot, and we go directly into the other figure 4. Breathing so that our core is functioning in a dynamic way, breathing so that our nervous system doesn't get alarmed about what we're doing, and guiding ourselves gently into that stretch so we're not at the point of pain or circulatory compromise. Circling the ankle. And going the other way. And then standing on both your feet. We are going to do our wide stance and work our way into some hip circles and some shoulder circles before moving on. So with the feet about as wide as the outer part of your hips, you can have your hands wherever they're comfortable, you know, on your hips or on the back, and just shift your weight to the right, to the front, to the back. Now here, especially, we don't want to move into a place where we're kind of losing the integration of the low back with the belly, right? So I'll give you the side. You don't do this. You don't want to go boom, right? We're shifting, but we're never putting ourselves into an untenable position as we move through the circle. Go the other way. So hip shift left, around the front and side and back. Mostly you'll just feel a shifting of where your weight falls through the bottom of your feet rather than a shifting or wide swinging in the position of your center. You're rolling through the hips a bit. And then let that subside. Keep your wide stance and stabilize the position of the pelvis and just turn side to side, letting the arms swing and letting the opposite knee bend a little bit. Yeah. Moving up toward the shoulders, obviously, but also putting a little bit of mobility into the mid-spine, into the waist. Sometimes when we use our core a great deal of effort, we start to immobilize the middle of the waist, the bottom of the ribs. Don't do that. Let that subside, and then bring your feet back underneath you. All right, hands to shoulder tops, elbows squeeze forward and up, and then open wide as you lower them down the back. Forward and up, opening wide. Now, anything that your head wants to do to stay comfortable, either moving or stretching or not, allow that to happen. Stay steady over your feet though. And then reverse. Elbows skim the sides of the ribs, stretch wide, come over the top. So feeling movement in the arms and the shoulders, obviously, but also in the joint, some people consider it a joint, of the shoulder blade against the back of the ribs. It's a muscular joint rather than a bony joint. When you've completed that, shake your hands out. And we do just a roll down and up the spine before starting a little bit more of our technique-based breath work. Nod the chin to the chest. And exhale, begin to soften down the length of your spine. At a certain point, it'll feel comfortable probably to bend your knees in order to maintain the integrity of the curve. Allow that to happen. Take it all the way down. And that's individual. And at the bottom, nod yes, releasing the head and the neck. Turn the head no. Roll about halfway up. And then circle the shoulders, one and then the other, like you're backstroking. One more across the sides. Shake your arms out, push down into your feet, and roll the rest of the way up. Feel a spreading across the upper chest. Balance the shoulders over the top of the ribs, and inhale, lift the shoulder tops up. Exhale, let the shoulders settle gently over the top of the ribs. Feel how when you lift the shoulders up, at a certain point, they'll narrow in. As you drop the shoulders down, they spread apart and just drape gently over the contour of the rib cage. We do that one more time, making sure that when we drop the shoulders down, we're not pressing down. You don't want to create tension there. And just stand for a moment. Eyes forward, inhale and exhale. And then we put a prop between the inner thighs. So getting down to business here. Okay. You can use a ball. You can even use a rolled up towel. Yoga block works okay, but not every household has those. Standing and feeling a natural spacing of the hips, let the feet settle into ground. And create or recreate that integration up and down your whole chain. We're inhaling through the nose, drawing the breath down through the levels of the spine toward the lower belly. Exhale and reach that breath up through the crown as you retain the grounding of your feet or awareness of your feet into the ground. Inhale down through the levels of the spine through your center. Now you can exhale and imagine the breath reaching down through the length of your legs as you preserve the lift of the crown. Of course, ultimately, we want to connect those two feelings, breath being deposited in the center, and from the center, the exhale radiating through your ends, up and down, left and right across your width, and also occupying the front and back of you so that you feel the breath in a three-dimensional or holistic way. Referencing your feet, because your feet are how you relate to your gravity field, right? I'm going to get a little nerdy here. We'll inhale and bend the knees, breath being deposited into our center. Aware of your center and grounded through the feet, as you exhale through your ends, that's going to push you off into your stretched position up because the feet are fixed. Last nerdly thing. Inhale, bend the knees. The feet are against solid ground. So as we exhale from our center and reach into stretch, that propels us taller, and that functions when we're just standing up straight as well, by the way. Inhale, bend the knees. And exhale. We have two more of these, and I'll keep kind of quiet and let you digest all of this. Last one. Now we're going to free up the heels, keep the balls of the feet and the toes firmly grounded. And as we exhale and reach the breath both down and up, as the breath hits the ground, it will help to lift the heels and indeed the crown. Inhale, lower. So a lot of how we use the body depends on how we use gravity, right? Our contact points with ground. We're going to do 8 of these, by the way. So we have 6 more. Exhale. As you extend the breath from your center, you'll rise up. Inhale, lower. Halfway through. So we're very specifically allowing the feet and the ankles to move, and without gripping, holding everything else steady. That enables us to be carried in one piece upward and in one piece downward, preserving our balance. We do 1 more of these. Exhale and inhale. Now, on the exhale breath, return to the bend of the knees. 4 stages from this point. We inhale and lift the heels. Feel the exhale stretching you upward and downward in all directions. And then inhale, lower. Continue through your 4 stages. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, stretch the legs. And inhale, lower. Do 4 more. So more complexity to the movement. Please remain aware of your feet and of what's moving. Keep the breath moving into and out of your center. And we do 2 more. There's a term in yoga called spanda, where things draw in and then radiate out. It's like an oscillation of energy. Not getting too woo-woo here, but in real life, things very often function that way. In our case, we're thinking of the breath in those terms. We return to a bend of the knees, keeping our feet grounded. Exhale here. We hold here and activate the inner thighs and pulses. So relating our inner thighs to both our feet and to pelvic floor. Exhale, firm that line of muscle or support. Inhale, relax a little. Do this 3 more times. Feel a response in the muscles of your core, which are breathing muscles, especially since we're doing this on an exhale. Keep the last squeeze. We're going to feel a response all up and down the chain, from the core down into the feet and from the core up through the crown of the head. We pulse downward 8 times. Up a little bit and exhale down. Now you're going to go as deeply as you can go, keeping the heels on the ground, and only come up a little bit. So here's your chance to explore depth. You want to feel like you get both stretch and tone in the underside or backside of the hips and the legs. We have 3 or 4 more. I'm going to do an extra one. And when you're at your deepest point, put your hands on your thighs, on your lap, and exhale, round the spine from the bottom to the top, creating an imprint, hollowing the belly, and draping and stretching the curve of the spine over the support of the muscles. Inhale here. Exhale, bottom to top, return through neutral, retaining internal support and organizing around it, lining up the bottom of the pelvis with the crown of the head. We do that again. Exhale, rounding, creating muscular support that we stretch the spine over. Inhale here and exhale, retain support and align around it. At the top of this one, I'd like you to inhale and extend upward through the upper ribs, maintaining the alignment of the bottom ribs. Release the head and neck here. Breathe in and feel an opening, a stretching under the chest wall. And then exhale, release that and straighten your legs. Straight on your legs, we inhale now and lift the heels. Dropping our weight to ground, exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, reach the heels down and back before exhaling and straightening the legs. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bend the knees, tracking directly forward through the ankles as well. Keep that tracking as you lower the heels, inhaling and exhaling, stretch. We have 4 more. Up. Exhale, bend, keep inner thighs. Inhale, heels down, stabilizing ankles, and exhale, stretch. We are halfway through. Weight in both feet. Everyone knows we like to think we're symmetric, but because we do tend to have dominant and non-dominant sides, sometimes we have a laggy side or a side that doesn't feel as steady. 1 more. And we rise last time. Stay here, exhale, re-engaging the inner thighs. So just like we did in our plie or our bend of the knees, do that 3 more times. Feel a direct line of connection that brings you into ground as well as supports you upward from the core into the crown. Squeeze a final time. We do pulses at the top with the heels continuously lifted. Inhale, bend your knees a little bit. Exhale, stretch the legs. 8 of these. Steady over the feet and balanced in how you use your legs. Last couple. Now inhale, bend your knees a little bit, and exhale, bend them more as you support. From this position, inhale, lower your heels, and exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, and exhale, lift. Tracking laterally, parallel through the ankles, hips, and knees. We have 5 more. A lot of footwork today. Inhale, lower your heels, and exhale, stretch your legs. Whew. Put your ball or block off to the side. And then stand on one foot and just do little circles over the top of the other toes. Go the other way. And then do the other side. Reversing. Yeah, there we go. We'll lean into a plank against the wall and start to bring awareness to the shoulders. I'm going to move some of my goodies here. And you don't necessarily need to go to extremes here in terms of effort. We do want to find kind of the boundary or the edge where we feel challenged. But as you find neutral and then lean it into wherever you're going, you don't want to, for instance, feel like that level of challenge has caused you to pull up into tension or anxiety in the chest or the neck. We still feel that the shoulders are comfortably settling onto the ribs, not bearing down, not hunching up. And the space across the top and inside of your chest is wide and deep. You still retain connection from the feet through the crown. And you might want to just check the position of the head. Very often we're a head forward culture. Feel like as the chest opens, it doesn't strain upward, right? Nor does it get crushed or pulled downward. It just settles comfortably, like the shoulders settle comfortably. Keep this forward tilt, and just by a little bit on your inhale, bend your knees. Feel your weight dropping into the soles of your feet and spreading from toes to heels. Then keep the grounding of the feet referencing the floor. Exhale, stretch your legs. Feel energy and impulse traveling up from the ground toward the crown. Of course, we're also using breath, so we have a little bit of redundancy there in terms of energetics. Redundancy is good. Do a final stretch. And connecting upstream from your center into the length of your ribs, space of your heart, we retain that and change to push-ups. The legs remain straight. We inhale, bend the elbows. Referencing the feet in your center, now exhale, push from your arms. So we've got all the appendages working now in some way. Inhale, bend your elbows. You'll feel grounding in the feet and also, in a sense, in the hands as you push away. As you move closer to your surface and then push away from it, everything is carried with the internal supportive core and that integration from bottom to top, side to side, and front to back. We have 3 more. Try not to lose your feet. And 1 more. After you've pushed away, go ahead and bend your hips. Keep your stance though, your parallel stance, and slide your hips back. If you need to adjust your spacing, that's fine. We want to get an extension of the shoulders. We'll inhale and come up a little bit, backing out of that pulsed extension, and then exhale, sink down. And of course, we're doing our pulses through the legs, but this is actually a dynamic, gentle stretch for the back or underside of the shoulders. We do this 2 more times, coming up a little bit, and then lowering, not moving to extremes or to hyperextension, right? You don't want to lose muscle tone that supports these joints. Go down to that point where you can go and retain neutral as well as retain integrity through the shoulder joints. And on your exhale, lift one hand lightly from your bar or slide it up the wall. And it could just be an impulse. You might not even move that arm. Lower it down. Have a breath. On the exhale, try and lift the other arm. Use the deltoid muscles, not your neck. And exhale, lower. Do that again across the sides. And in addition to isolating the deltoids or the shoulder tops, be aware of the relationship of the bottom ribs to the top opening of the pelvis. You want to keep that square and keep the breath traveling through. Inhale here and exhale all the way up through the levels of the spine. Step your feet apart just a little bit. Pull your hips back further and then straighten one leg, shifting over to the other side. And you'll get a stretch down the side of the ribs and the waist as well. Return to both knees bent. Exhale, straighten the other leg. If that felt good, you can do it again. We have time. And when you've done both sides an equal number of times, round through the spine, rolling up, releasing the extension of the shoulders, letting your arms hang. Keep a feeling of buoyancy in the shoulders as well as soft grounding, right? So it's always playing the middle, right, against the ends here. And then grab your weights. You can use a block or a ball between inner thighs if you like. And we move through the arms a smidge. Okay. Everything is parallel in the stance of the legs and neutral in the spacing of the hips, neutral in the posture of the spine. And we're going to open the chest a little bit. I'll give you the side view or an oblique view. And we'll start by pulling the elbows back. This activates the front and back of the shoulder girdle in an interesting way. So we're exhaling and pulling the elbows a little back and behind as we use the biceps to lift the weights toward the shoulders. Back of the shoulder girdle helps draw the arms behind, and the biceps in the front help to lift the weights up. And so you'll have this little chicken wing elbow pointing out the back, parallel through the arms, and then returning. The trick is we are halfway through, so don't do this. Pull your elbows back by hunching your shoulders forward. No. So you might find the movement is small if you happen to be tight in that range. We do one more. And pause. Now I'll shift my angle to you. You stay in place. Bring the two weights together and the inside of the wrists are facing your body. We're going to again bend the elbows and use the biceps to lift the hands, but this time the elbows poke out to the side and it's like we're zipping the weights up the front of our body like you would zip up a jacket. Inhale, exhale, and inhale. Now for most of us, bearing in mind that all bodies are a little bit different, you're not going to be able to lift the hands above or much above the level of the shoulder girdle without using your neck or your upper traps. So you can play the edge, but don't step over it. We have 4 more, I think. I'm trying for sets of 8. 3 more. Using the biceps again. And keeping the front of the shoulders open, which is why we have the weights together, because it kind of, I hate to say forces the issue, but it makes it necessary to keep the shoulders open. And then when you've lowered, Let your arms hang by your sides in a parallel way. We do our hammer curls here, alternating across the sides 8 times. And obviously, you're stabilizing the shoulders. I want you to shift your attention, though, to the spine and particularly the bottom of the rib cage. You know, you want it aligned and centered. You know that as you do the alternating arms, you don't want a big shifting of your weight left and right or a big twisting in the spine. Notice, too, whether you have tension. Very commonly, the back of the rib cage below the shoulder blades can tighten in this type of movement. We really want to create 3-dimensional support. Let's do 3 more to each side. So exhaling, feel your transversus without losing height in the waist. Continue through this alternating movement. It does require your obliques to work, but not without the support internally of core. When you've done your last one, side to side, put your weights down for a moment. We'll do an awkward block shuffle and shake out your arms. Okay. Let the arms swing a little forward and back, and you do still have your block or ball. Let the arms swing a little forward and back, maintaining stability without discomfort at the bottom of the ribs, base of the neck. And feel that the arms can swing without a big displacement of the shoulders. Shoulders, again, resting comfortably on the ribs. We're going to do our good mornings, or our hinge forward through the hips. And as we stabilize everything else, we're just going to let the arms fall into gravity. It can be a little bit of a trick. Prepare here with your exhale, radiating length up and down and grounding in the feet. And then on your inhale, tilt forward from the hips. Allow the arms to hang into gravity. And exhale, come back up. Arms are just kind of dead weights. Inhale, tilting forward. Allow the shoulder to be stable without being gripped. Exhaling up. Go for a set of 8. Not tightening or clamping down on the bottom of your back ribs. Keeping the alignment or tone through front ribs. When you come up into standing, make sure you come all the way into hip extension. Use your glutes, the back and inner part of your thighs. I cheated the last one. Try not to clench your toes or to grip your ankles. One more. And then roll your shoulders and put your block off to the side. Okay. We're going to use the weights again and find a lunge position where we'll work some triceps and more back of the shoulder girdle. So I'm going to begin with my left foot stepped forward because it's my non-dominant leg, and I like to start with that challenge first. You start with whatever leg you want. Glide the knee forward and back a little bit, firm the back leg, and finally settle into a lunge that you can keep for a little while, allowing your arms to hang in gravity. Right. So we're going to bring the arms straight all the way back by the side, skimming the hips. Let's rotate the inside of the palms and wrists forward, right? So we have external rotation of the shoulders. On the exhale, draw the arms back. They might get to hip level. That's enough. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw the arms back. They might go further, but don't compromise with the shoulders. Heading toward 8. Feel the lats now. Feel the whole complement of muscles that support and stabilize the shoulder blades without gripping them. Couple more. Now, the last time you pull the arms back, leave them there. You're probably feeling it in your front glute. That's good. Stabilize the hips. Pay attention to your spine. Keep the arms in extension. And inhale, open them away from the body a little bit. Exhale, squeeze them in. Here, again, a little bit more through the lats. Open a little. Exhale, squeezing in. Find your breath. Maintain continuity through the core, through the posture. A fourth and final squeeze. Allow the arms to come forward to return to parallel. Step the back foot forward. You can put your weights down for a moment if you like. And we're going to stretch this glute, this front glute. The front leg remains the front leg. And we cross over a little bit more parallel than our figure four stretch, squeezing the inner thighs together and the top and the bottom thighs against each other. Bend deeply. You want to add to the stretch, you can twist a little toward the top leg, but don't sway the knees, twist your spine. Release, twist if that's where you went, and roll up. Whew. Shake out your legs. Okay, stand for a moment, we catch our breath before doing the other side. Become aware of the soles of your feet. Feel the inhales, the breath moving toward the center, and then the exhales radiating outward in all directions. Focus your eyes. Have one more breath in and out. And then grab your weights again. So we don't have to repeat the good mornings. We're just going to repeat the lunge. New leg is forward. Line it up. And then especially if you have flexibility in the hips, don't do what I was just doing. Don't hyperextend hips and back, right? Find muscular support here. Lean forward into the front leg. Externally rotate the shoulders, the inside of the wrists and elbows coming forward. And again, without shrugging or using the back of the neck, we have 8 times where we extend the arms to the back. There's 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. Take your time. We are working the legs as well as the shoulder girdle. I'm getting a pretty good stretch in my back calf, so that's an unexpected, pleasant surprise. Now, the last time you pull the arms back, leave them there. Square off your tailbone, so spare some attention to your spine and your core for a moment, and then keep the shoulder extension, and inhale, open the arms a little bit away. Exhale, squeeze in, feel the lats down the side of the rib cage. Lengthen and support the knees. Lengthen the spine and support the knees. One more, squeezing in. Return the arms forward, parallel, roll the spine up, and step the leg forward. Put your weights down. Cross that front leg over top. Squeeze in as well as front and back or up and down. And bend deeply into the knees. Hinge deeply into the hips. Let go of your neck and your jaw and allow yourself to balance over your foot, over your center. And if you want to add a little twist, you can do that. If you're twisted, release it, roll up, and stand on your feet. Shake out your legs. And we're going to do a standing twist. If you have a flex band, you can grab it and use it. I'll give you a moment to do that. I know I didn't say that at the beginning of class. If you have a flex band, no reason not to use it. I'll just use mine so I can demonstrate what we're doing here. We did this the other day where we wrapped the flex band around under the back of the shoulders. Got this big bulky sweater on. It's a little chilly this morning. So if you've got the flex band, you've got it like this with the tails coming out between the thumb and the index finger side of the hand. You've got the palms wide. If you're not using a flex band, you got the same position. Okay. Steady over your feet. We exhale and extend the arms to the side. And the whole point, whether you're using the flex band or not, is to feel the arms spreading from the center or axis of the body. From the bottom of the shoulder blades out into the fingertips, keeping the chest, the heart area wide and deep. So you're not crushing the upper rib cage, the upper thoracic space. We have one more of these, and we're going to keep the arms extended, so bearing that in mind. Inhale, hold this, release the back of the neck, and then exhale, bring the arms in front. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, bring the arms in front. Inhale, open wide. Again, with or without the flex band. 2 more times, we open wide. Do not allow the bottom of your ribs to be shoved forward. Do allow the top of the thoracic space to open forward and outward. And on the next exhale, with arms open wide, turn from the waist without changing where your weight rests in your feet. Without swiveling the hips, inhale, return to center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Hold the arms from the shoulder blades, not the neck. 2 more times across the sides. Stable and balanced in the ribs and shoulders as you rotate the spine itself. And I know it's a lot for shoulders. Arms return forward, elbows bend. If you use the flex band, take it out from behind the back. All right. The next thing too, you can continue with the flex band or use weights in your hands. You recall our lunge as we're pressing the arms back, of course. We're going to stand upright and press the arms back slowly. So it's not going to be as big a work for the shoulders, but we are going to try to deepen or intensify our connection to core and relate that deepening connection to core to the extension of the shoulders or the opening of the chest. So once you're steady over your feet, you'll exhale and open the chest, enabling the arms to move back, and sequence matters, BT dubs. Inhale, release. Exhale, pulling back. And inhale, release. Do that 2 more times, opening the chest, enabling the shoulders to extend with the support and foundation of core and legs. And then release. Now, if you're just using your weights, put them off to the side. If you're using your flex band, you can still use it for the 100. You'll just have the flex band stretched over the thighs and the arms will pulse back this way. Without it, you're just going to do this. In either instance, what we don't want to do is each time we pulse the arms back, have that break at the ribs. And I've referred to this several times in class. So don't do this, right? Do this-ish, yeah. So we're standing over our feet. We've got connection into ground that supports the stability of our spine. We've opened the chest to enable the arms to extend slightly back. And we exhale long and slow. Pulsing 5 times as you inhale in 5 increments. Same with the exhale. Keep it going, 8 more sets for a total of 10. And honestly, we're looking for the stability over the feet without the gripping in the feet and the ankles, right? We are having a slight activation through the back of the shoulders, but only so the front can open and so that we can have access to the core rather than hanging ourselves off of our neck about halfway through or maybe further. Each time you exhale, feel that building tone in the deeper muscles. And when you've done your last set, I wait for you, please don't rush. Just sigh and stand for a moment. And do sigh so that I can hear it and I'll know you're done. Yes. Okay. We drop all the props. I'm gonna check my time while we're doing that. Get a sip. And we've just built, flex band is sticky. Good connection into ground. Nice tone in the core. We're gonna do a little bit of one leg standing, which we ordinarily do earlier in class. And we're gonna stand on our inside leg. And by that, I mean the same leg as we have a hand on the countertop or bar or whatever. And for the first little bit, you might not even use that, right? You can use it as you orient over the sole of the foot, lifting the other one up. And we do plies here, right? So we'll inhale and bend the standing leg, inside leg, and exhale to stretch it. Inhale to bend it, and exhale to stretch it. Keep going. Oh, I just reversed my breath, pardon me. Please inhale and bend the standing leg, and exhale to stretch it. Keep the ankle adaptable, stable, but mobile. Last couple. Without gripping the toes, feel the grounding of the foot. One more. Now listen, with our outside leg, we're gonna step forward and slide your hand along your support and tilt. Inhale, come fully up, inside, sole of the foot skimming the floor, and tilt again. We have 8 of these guys. So it's our dipping bird exercise. Keep breathing it through. Integrating continuous through the middle spine. Same thing about the base of the neck. 2 more. And 1 more. With both feet on the ground, step back if you need to. So obviously you're all working in your own space. Stretch the arms forward, have a wide stance through the legs, and pull the hips back. And you can stay here, or you can do a subtle pulsing. I'm gonna feel a nice extension, not only of the shoulders, but the waistline, right, for lack of a better word. You might have a little extension in your low back, but you wanna have your hips really pulling away from your fingertips. Inhale, and then exhale, stretch one leg, bend it. Exhale, stretch the other leg, bend it. Having returned through center, now roll up through the spine, stretching both legs as you stand on both feet, and we turn around. Okay, so shake it out, having rebalanced. I'm gonna go here. Let's see if I can do this without knocking everything over. We have our inside leg and our inside hand, or the hand that's against our balance surface if you need it. Stand for a moment on both feet. Feel the continuity and integration of spine and breath. And lift up the outside leg. 8 times we inhale and bend the leg we're standing on. dropping the weight down into the foot, and then exhale, pushing off from the foot as we straighten the leg. Easy carriage of the head, neck, and shoulders. They just ride lightly on top of the ribs. Inhale to bend. And exhale to stretch. Almost at that halfway point, make sure the ankle isn't gripping to over control the balance. Ankles help with balance for sure, but they shouldn't be the key player. Right, just a little supporting player here as the core and the breath do the main part of the work. 3 more. Last one. You might want to put your hand down. We're going to step the outside foot forward and stand on it. And then on the next inhale breath, tilt into what would be like warrior 3. And exhale, stand all the way up. Inhale, tilting, pivoting over the hip, the inner hip and thigh. Keep that going. We have 8 total. So 5 more to do after this one. Keep the arch of your standing leg active, pulling up toward the inner thigh support. 4 more. And don't cheat like I just did. So come all the way up. Ah, there we are. I'm gonna have to take my hand off the countertop because it's making me cheat. One or 2 more probably. One more. Oh, stand up and shake it out. Rather than repeating the standing stretch we did, after you've had a chance to shake out your legs, please throw a mat down on the ground and we'll lie on our backs and do a stretch there. You can have a blanket for under the back of your head. You won't need a lot of props or any props beyond that, really. Oof. There you go. And once you're down, just pull your knees in towards your chest, keeping the knees and feet side by side rather than crossed. And squeeze gently with your biceps without activating the neck, like we practiced in standing. Allow the low back to move into a natural imprint. Do relax the abs here. So rather than triggering the abs, soften the belly and the hips. You can rock a little side to side if that feels good. Ooh, my stomach's growling. You know, if your stomach growls, that's a pretty good indicator that your parasympathetic nervous system is working, like you've been using your transversus for the past hour. So we're going to keep imprint and guiding perhaps with the hands, press the legs toward tabletop. You'll feel the ab sort of requirement or engagement increasing as you approach tabletop position. Point your toes. Extend the arms forward to the ceiling with the palms facing inward. And we'll do our overhead work here. Don't use your weights. I really don't want you to do that unless you feel extra compelled. I want you to instead focus on the integrity of the legs, the lower body, and on the exhale breath, reach the arms back. We're going to return on the inhale, so different than we ordinarily do this stuff. Yeah. Focusing on the lower body, exhale, reach back. Let the arms relax into gravity and firm the support for your center and your legs. 2 more times. Exhale, reach back. Find the bottom of the ribs. One more time. Inhale, bring the arms all the way down to your sides, palms up or down, your choice. And exhale, stretch one leg away. Inhale, bend it. Again, focusing on the lower body. The steadiness of your imprint along with the steadiness of your breath. We're alternating across the sides. The tracking of the legs from the inner hip and thigh without any weight bearing, obviously, on the feet. One more, or a third time. And then pause. Bring the knees and the feet together and place your hands under the back of your head. Inhale and exhale a couple of times, making space in the sides of the ribs. And then on your next inhale, nod the chin downward. Please focus on the lower body. And on your exhale, bend forward. Inhale, hold at the top. Exhale and lower. Get a sense of easing or release inside the lower ribs. And as you exhale and bend forward, use your upper obliques, connecting them to your lower obliques, or external to internal. And do a set of 5. We're only doing 5, so make sure you feel this in your abs, not in your neck. One more, please. And then when you've laid your head down, again, hug the knees toward the chest, rock left and right, release your low back in case it got a little activated. Feet go to ground, 1, 2. And we do 2 hip rolls. So lower your head mat or eliminate it completely. We are doing our final little cool down here, and I want you to think of hip rolls in that spirit. All right, so I suggest palms up, external open rotation through the shoulders, feet grounded. And on your exhale breath, you start at the base of your spine and flex through each vertebral joint on your way up to your bridge. You're going to feel work in the back of your hips and your legs, but hopefully stretch in the front of your hips and your abs. At the top, a nice easy inhale, soften the muscles of your face, remain firmly connected to ground, and exhale, roll it back down. Feel a deepening through the chest walls, front and back, and an opening side to side. When you return to ground, to have a moment where you let your body weight be entirely supported by the floor, and then do one more, please. It's better to use multiple breaths than to strain, to try it all on, to try and do it all in one exhale. I had to talk myself into that one, but I promise you it's a better strategy. And once you've rolled down the final time and have given your body weight to ground, allow the legs to stretch. Eyes open or closed, relax your face and your focus. And just breathe a little bit here. We're not going to do anything else hard in class today. We're just going to end up here with some soft breathing. Maybe 2 or 3 more rounds. Opening the front of you and relaxing all of your contact points with the ground. You might almost feel like the back of your body is flowing into the surface of the floor. When you're ready to get up from here, start just by opening your eyes and refocusing. Continue to breathe softly. Of course, you can stay here as long as you like. If you're going to get up, just maybe bend the knees and roll off to one side. Be gentle as you make a transition into upright. And I'll let you guys finish that off for yourselves. Thanks for coming to class. Good to see you. And hi, Cynthia. Next week I will be gone. So
thanks, Joyce.
yeah, you're welcome. I'll send out a text, at least maybe an email with different class links, and we'll get caught up at that point. Okay, turning the recording off. I'll leave the room.